Now it is time for a certain brother to make his reappearance.
Hey, brother.
A brother.
He's back.
Yes. It has been 11 episodes since we last saw a certain brother.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's back. And he's angrier than ever.
Grrr.
Grr. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Jared Now Watch Inuyasha. It is episode number 18. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Ladium.
Hello.
We're discussing season 1, episode number 18, called Naraku and Sesshomaru Join Forces.
They're going to join forces.
Wow, I'm shocked.
They have a mutual...
You have a mutual understanding.
Yeah. I was trying to think of the best way to phrase it, because it's not they have a mutual enemy, really, but kind of.
Naraku's going to go off to America and then go to dinner with an American cop.
No one's going to know what this is referencing.
Tune into the season 11 checkup OVA last week to understand that.
Yep.
So yes, we begin this episode. There's a bunch of bandits. They're just like, yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. Woo!
We got some rice.
And then Sesshomaru's just like standing in the road, and they're like, oh, look at that guy. He's just a goofball. Let's kill him. And then Sesshomaru brings out like a blue hand and just like, and just kills them all. That's how you do things. And then he just pops the arm off and is like, well, that sucks. That's useless.
That thing's not going to work anymore.
Nope.
And it just like disintegrates.
Mm-hmm. Jockin's like, oh, it was Inuyasha's fault. Let me tell you how that all happened, in case you forgot. So Sesshomaru's like, Jockin, you must go find me a new arm. Jockin's like, ah! And then a man wearing a baboon pelt shows up in like the grass and is like, hey, buddy, you want an arm?
He's
I got
just
an arm for you.
chilling by the side of the road, peddling arms.
I heard you don't like Inuyasha. I also don't like Inuyasha. Would you like an arm? It's got a shard of the Shikon jewel embedded in it.
And it's a
real
human
cool.
arm.
It's a human arm. And Jockin's like, what do you mean a human arm? That's not going to help. He's like, well, let's go help you
Tetsuiga.
wield, I'll help you wield Tetsuiga. It's pretty cool. And then Sesshomaru's like, you don't like Inuyasha. Are you just going to use me to get revenge on him? And this guy's like,
Yes.
yeah, yep, exactly. 100%. He tells Sesshomaru that he is Naraku.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also gives him like a hive. Like it's just a ball.
Yeah, he's like, here, you
here's
might
a cool
need
ball.
this.
You might need this later. Inuyasha and crew are at like a tavern or like a hotel.
They're like at a like
Whatever you want to call
an inn.
Yeah, there you go. They're just chowing down and like, oh, this is great and everything. You're just like, oh, it was Baroku's play to come here. I don't like it. And Kagobi and Shippo are like, yeah, I don't care whose planet it is. I'm going to eat this good food. It's
this
really
food's
good.
awesome. We're not having to sleep in the woods. This is fantastic. He's
Yes.
like, grrr.
Baroku is performing an exorcism and then he comes back and then Yoshi's like, hey, why is it that you figure out like all these weird things are happening in all the places we're staying at? And Baroku's like, that's because I make it up so we can eat for free, basically, and have a place to stay.
Kagome's like, I was beginning to suspect that was the case. I'm like,
And Shippo's
Kagome,
like, what?
honestly, Kagome,
And Yoshi's like,
come
what?
on.
Kagome's the only one who's just like level-headed about it. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like baffled. Moroku gives Inuyasha some dumplings. He's like, here, have some dumplings. And
Shippo's like,
I'll take these.
dumplings.
They're about to like have just like try and chill out, and then the ground begins to shake. Woo, and you're just like, oh, this is bad. Kagome's like, oh, there's a jewel shard coming very fast. This is bad.
And Inuyasha's like, oh, sweet, they're coming to us. That usually doesn't happen. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go.
They race to where the shard is, and then there's a giant ogre, and hey, it's Sesshomaru and Jockin. And Sesshomaru's like, I've come for Tetsuiga again. Because of course. Miroku's like, hey, you guys know each other?
You know this guy?
And Kagome's like, they're brothers.
They're brothers. That's his older brother. But not a half demon. He's a full demon. He's the real deal. And
The real deal.
I was like, oh God, don't let Inuyasha hear you call it that. Don't do that.
Kagomi's like, yeah, he tried to get Tetsaiga last time, but why is he trying again? We saw he couldn't do it the last time. This is weird. And he also tries to attack him with Tetsaiga, and Sesshomaru's like, nope. Man, you haven't unreleased the full power of Tetsaiga yet? You suck.
You're terrible.
And he also tries to hit him again, and Sesshomaru grabs his wrist and is like,
I have poison nails. Woo!
It's like, oh, my wrist, ah.
But then uses his other hand and is like, blip.
He knocks the Tetsaiga out of Inuyasha's hands, and they're like, oh, no. And then he's like, strolls over, and just picks it up and is like, hey, this is my sword now. They're like, what? He's not supposed to be able to pick it up? What? And he's like, hey, Jock, and summon a bunch of demons on the mountain. There's a bunch of demons show up, and Sesshomaru's like, y'all want to see something cool? Does one attack and slays 100 demons in a single stroke.
Like I said, just showing off at this point. That was really unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. Kagami wants to go run towards Inuyasha, and Muraku's like, wait. I will do this. I will end this sibling rivalry. Stay behind me. And then Inuyasha and Muraku argue about who gets to stand in front.
Yep,
and
that was
Jockin's
pretty
like,
funny.
Is this the same monk that Naraku told us about that could be more troublesome? No way, he looks like a goober.
He basically does say that.
And then Jockin's like, me lord, I will finish off this monk. He's a scrub. And Sesshomaru's like, yeah, go ahead, cool. And then Moroku's like, it's wind tunnel time, y'all.
I got this wind tunnel. Bleh!
And Jockin's like, whoa! Kagomi's like, oh man, Moroku's the best. Oh, you're also good at Inuyasha as well.
That was really, really funny. He's like, oh, I can tell that was from the heart.
Sesshomaru recalls getting the hive thing because
Mm-hmm.
they specifically to plug up Moroku's hole. That's a sentence. Wow.
Whoa!
That is definitely a sentence. Either way, he's like, oh yeah, this ball. Let me throw this at him. And then bees. Bees fly into Moroku's hand. They're like, that's weird. They're flying at him, not getting sucked up. And then he's like, oh no, my hand. Oh God, it hurts. Oh no.
Yeah, so as I mentioned last episode, I had told you before, like, oh man, wind tunnel's really OP, but they're gonna find a way to neutralize it. Very, very like it's gonna be neutralized, and then it's basically useless. And then this episode, the very next episode, here are the bees, and literally every time in the future, Moroku's like somewhat useful to like. So, how do you want some bees, huh? Do you want
You
them?
think he would like start to realize maybe I should just like avoid the bees?
I mean, they are like trying to swarm his hand. Like they're
Just turn off the wind tunnel.
well, that's what he ends up having to do. So, like I
Easy.
said, they basically neutralize him as a useful fighter because his one thing that he's really good at, he can't do most of the time because it's like bees.
Bees. Inuyasha has to use basically his random attacks to take out care of the bees and everything. And
Yeah,
then
he does
Moroku's-
like Blades of Blood and Iron Reaver Soul Stealer
Yeah.
to get rid of them. And Shippo uses Foxfire.
Moroku goes to Kagomi's like, I think they poisoned me. And she's like, don't move. I will go get an antidote. And then Inuyasha grabs him to run away. He's like, is he actually poisoned? Huh. Well,
Might
whatever.
actually die.
That's nothing. They go and hide behind the big ogre demon. And then Sesshomaru's like, hey, I'm going to go blow up this demon and kill y'all.
I forgot exactly what he said, but he says it twice because of the commercial cut.
I mean, hang on.
It's in our
This
messages.
is he's like, this is the end for you. Die.
Die.
This is the end for you. Die.
Yep.
So he uses Tetsaiga to blow up the ogre, but it doesn't kill them because they just like bury themselves underground.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that, but pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Inuyasha's like, hey, if you try to kill someone, you should probably do it the first time, or you'll regret it. Sesshomaru again tries to attack Inuyasha with Tetsaiga, but Inuyasha blocks it with the sheath.
Yep.
And Sesshomaru's like, that's weird. Huh. Jockin comes out of the rubble and is like, oh man, Sesshomaru, he has no regard for ally or foe. When he's in battle, he's very dangerous.
Tried to murder me.
And then Moroku grabs him and is like, hey, how did you know about this thing, about me when we've never met and everything? But then Jockin's like, have some fire. Blah! So Shippo and Moroku are trying to work together to take down Jockin. All the while, Sesshomaru and Inuyasha are in a struggle, or a power struggle essentially. And then a random arrow comes in and strikes Tetsaiga, and it reverses the transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, huh? And then Kagomi's like sitting there like, I won't hesitate.
Basically, yeah. He's like, this one's gonna go in your heart if you don't drop it.
And Moroku's like, oh, I guess she is the reincarnation of the priestess. Interesting.
It's basically like with an actual dog, when you're trying to get them to drop something, you just like bop them on the nose a little bit. And you're like, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. Like that's what she's doing, but trying to threaten him with an arrow to the heart.
Threatening him with murder.
Yep.
And then we end the episode as she's like poised to strike.
Dur-dur-dur.
Do. Let's talk about some notes and differences. Not as many as last episode.
No.
This is the first time the wind scar was ever used in the series. What is the wind scar?
It's like one of the big moves that Inuyasha uses most of the series. It is the move that he used to cut down the demons and the mountain. Inuyasha also learns it eventually.
You mean Sesshomaru uses it?
That's what I'm saying is Inuyasha will end up using it a lot.
Okay, I think you said Inuyasha first. Maybe I may have misheard. So I got very confused. I was like, wait, did he do a new move?
No. I was just saying that it's like one of his signature moves throughout the series, and then Sesshomaru uses it for the first time when he cuts the demons in the mountains. I'm sorry, I might have phrased it weird, but it's like one of the signature moves of the series.
Okay. This is also the first appearance of Naraku outside of flashbacks.
Yep.
This is the only time in the series that Sesshomaru ever has anything to do with the Shikan Jewel or its shards. This is what it says.
Okay.
And then this is the first appearance of the bees.
The poison bees.
Bees! Differences from the manga. In the manga, Kagome rushes to Inuyasha's side in an attempt to stop Sesshomaru, followed by Moroku. In the anime, Moroku jumps in front of Inuyasha first. After Sesshomaru destroys the giant demon with the wind scar, Inuyasha immediately jumps to attack. In the manga, the anime has Inuyasha and Sesshomaru share a conversation beforehand.
Oh, so maybe the wind scar is both of those things. Because he also used it for the big demon guy. Anyway, the wind scar is a big move in Inuyasha canon.
I will believe it when I see it and know exactly what it is eventually.
Okay. Well, eventually Inuyasha, every time he uses it, will go, wind scar!
See, there you go. He hadn't said it, so I don't know what it is.
Yep.
Moroku and Shippo's fight with Jockin doesn't happen in the manga. Instead, Moroku simply punches Jockin in a fit of rage, astonishing Shippo. That's all he should have done immediately.
Legit, that's hilarious. He's just like, you know what? That's great. I wish that had actually happened here.
That would have been very nice.
Would have been very nice.
So that's going to do it for this episode. We got a cliffhanger we'll have to resolve next time, which will be Season 1, Episode number 19, which is called Go Home to Your Own Time, Kagome. Get out of here! Go back to your hometown. Your home time? Your own time. We don't need you here. Go home. Which I'm sure that's all exactly verbatim that's going to happen next episode. Confirmation, there you go. So there you go. We'll talk about all of that again next week. But for now, if you want more from us, head on over to seasonlamecheckup.com or sac.cool where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Season Lamech Checkup OVA. You can also find columns reviews on the site as well. If you want more from Anne Ladium, go to anneladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. You can buy our books, One Shining Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And that's it. So join us next time when everyone just yells at Kagome to go home.